Hello guys, welcome to Wesley Fly, gaming and tech YouTube channel. I'm also on Twitch, so you can go on Twitch and just type my channel name here on YouTube into Twitch and you will find my gaming channel. Um, Today we're going to be journeying into the mind of our conversational genius, ChatGPT, as you can see on the screen. Before I start diving into the ChatGPT that we're going to talk about today, I'd like to invite you to the Zotobat network. Wesley Fly is actually part of Zotobat network. The website of Zotobat is just 2 days old. It started just yesterday, so as at the time of making this video, it's still, you can just say that it's still on a launch process. So these menus here, the content's prepared for all of them, so they will be uploaded on daily basis and you should be able to see more content added. If you see this topic here you can just check our website, this website here, to get more details about it. We have more coming up. There's still a lot of things, social media platforms are not connected, and there are a couple of things that need to be adjusted on the website to have it set up completely and more content added. So we'll continue doing that as time goes on, but I assure you daily basis content will be added. Let's dive deep into ChatGPT because there's so many claims on the internet that make people are saying they make millions overnight, thousands of dollars overnight with ChatGPT. I want to be straightforward with you. It's fake. It's not true. Okay. Now, is it possible to make money with ChatGPT? Of course. Just like in other work online, you can make money. What ChatGPT actually does is it increases your output when it comes to work. It increases your output. Now, if you go on YouTube, which I really don't like, money has deceived us so much to the point where we don't care about the harm that we cause others. We just put misleading information, even though Google has been working very hard to encourage people to report spam, fake videos and stuff like that, misleading content, so that they will take those channels down. But yeah, I know they've got so much, their hands are full, they can't do everything overnight. But yeah, as technology advances, sooner or later they'll be able to do that efficiently. But yeah, it's going on. If you come to YouTube and type in code ChatGPT make money, you see all of this here. This person here seems to be very straightforward about saying that it's only for entertainment purposes. It's not actually real. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that ChatGPT has been is like there are so many people trying to capitalize on the AI intelligence. They're trying to use that to deceive people, which is very bad. I have to be very sincere with you. It's very bad and ugly. Because ChatGPT is an open source, and that's what happens when there's an open source. And I understand why ChatGPT have decided to add some crucial information, but limited to only ChatGPT Plus users. They've decided to add some plugins which we can find on their website. Okay, if you come here, you can see that they have the ChatGPT personal space, where you can also pay to and get some have your personal space where you can do things for yourself, and also the API reference. Now, what I was saying about the other one is that if you come here, they actually released some other accessories, if you want to call them like that, but yeah, plugins, which kind of gives a boost to ChatGPT performance, which means that you can actually, as a Plus user, enjoy early access to experimental new features, which may change during development. Okay, try ChatGPT that knows when and how to browse the internet or to answer some questions. Okay, try third-party plugins that you can enable, which is also quite good if you want to use ChatGPT for business commercialization, like a commercial purpose. It's worth paying for the ChatGPT Plus to have those plugins. But other than that, the open source, as you can see here, open source or open AI simply means that it's open artificial intelligence. It's a platform for everybody. Now, people usually forget what open source does. If you read down here, you see that they say that ChatGPT is it's a free research preview. This is the open source, and ChatGPT may produce inaccurate information about people, places, and facts. That's true. Okay, ChatGPT has been proven to be inaccurate with some informations, aren't they? That's something you need to be very careful. Now, its limitations is that it creates, and I'm very glad that the trainers of OpenAI they admitted this, that ChatGPT is having some problems with generating accurate information. Not always, but some of them are. Sometimes can be biased. Okay, it can also be biased, which is not good, and it has also another limitations. Not completely out, but yeah, it has that issue. Now, what you can do with ChatGPT is also very simple. If you look at ChatGPT, you can explain. It can explain quantum computing in simple terms. Okay, it goes say if you want to write something, for example, a birthday wish to a friend, it is capable of helping you write something creative for that. And then if you're a coder or programmer, then you also have ChatGPT to give you a hand, which makes that makes so the trainers here they kind of like document. It's like English grammar. ChatGPT knows English grammar. Why? Because it's already documented into it. It's like the principles are already added to the ChatGPT system, so it has this data. Now, the difference between this ChatGPT and others is that this one's open source, and there are other ChatGPT like Google Cloud. Bing also has their own. They have Chorus AI. They also have Salesforce AI. More. The list goes on and on. So the thing is that these are paid AIs, and this is open source. Now, another important thing you need to remember is that whatever you put here, whatever you type in here, the OpenAI developers have access to that information, which means that they are collecting billions and billions of information every day from users around the world, which you also need to be cautious of that, what information you use. Right on the go, you get a warning that whatever information you put there, they're going to have access to it. Therefore, you shouldn't put sensitive information when you're using ChatGPT. Okay, that out of the way, and the misleading information of making money also out of the way. Now let's dive deep into practical examples of ChatGPT. For example, the very first thing and basic thing is that when you go to school, the first thing you want to do is you write the date. Okay, so let's find out what's today's date. These has to do with prompts. We have to use prompts, and I have to explain these whilst we go on. So, what is today's date? Now, it's supposed to give me an answer for today's date. Okay, it has given me the answer for today's date, which is actually correct, even though it's limited to 2001. It was able to pull out information of the current year accurately. Let's rephrase that prompt a bit. What did you say today's date is? Okay. Now you see that today's date is June 28, 2008. It's kind of like confirms that. We rephrase the prompt in a different way. Oh, no, even though my spelling was wrong, it rephrased. So let's rewrite with the correct information, okay? It might get angry. Ha! Let's see. What did you say today's date is? Now, the good thing about this is that this system is capable of correcting its own errors when it identifies some. And I'm saying this because if you type use the prompts that I'm giving you right now, you might get some errors. It might give you correct date, and then the next one it might give you a wrong date. I want you to be aware of that. But then it will quickly learn to give you the correct information later. Okay, so that's very important. Now, and I'm telling you this because the AI is like that. It can be biased sometime. Now that I have rewritten it correctly, what did you say today's date is? It's decided to apologize for the incorrect information and decided to give me 26th September 2001. Now it is trying to predict the question you are trying to ask. So it gave me two correct answers and one wrong answer with the same question. Okay, so that's one thing that you need to remember about the ChatGPT. It's not always accurate. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's not useful. It's very useful. It kind of increases productivity. What does that mean? It increases your output. Now, let's say that that's one part that we need to remember. It can be positive and it can also be negative, right? Now, let's move on to the next thing. Let's say that your friend's birthday is getting closer and you want ChatGPT to help you write a positive, or let's say that an interesting message wish for your friend. So let's ask ChatGPT to give us a hand. Write on interesting message with humor. Write an interesting message with humor for my friend's birthday. Now, I was saying that it's very important to remember prompts. Now, there's actually a growth in prompt engineering now. Prompt engineering has to do with the commands that you use to communicate with artificial intelligence or AI. Now, that's very important because if you don't know how to use command prompts, you probably might not be able to use ChatGPT efficiently or AIs properly. Now, the good thing is that command prompts are not that difficult to learn, but they actually become natural with programmers. So if you're a programmer, you already know a much better way to communicate with AI. But if you're not a programmer, you might make some mistakes and the result might not always be accurate. So a company that really wants to make good use of ChatGPT or AI will want somebody that has a good background of command prompt or prompt engineering. So you might want to go and study a little bit about prompt engineering. Okay, now let's see what it can come up with. We requested for two things: interesting and humor. Let's see what it's saying. Alright, so happy birthday to my favorite human being. You know, getting older isn't so bad. It's like leveling up in a video game. Okay, except you unlock new abilities like napping without guilt and having an impressive collection of random aches and pains. Embraces those grey hairs. They are just your wisdom highlights. Now you can see how interesting it is able to write a message for your friend's birthday with humor. Now that's very interesting. Now, but is it limited just to that? Now, what else can we add to that message? For example, let's say suggest an interesting image to add to the message. Now how about a humorous image of a birthday cake with age-defying candles? Now the candles could be labeled with numbers like 29 or forever 21, implying the person is forever staying young. Okay, it adds a playful touch to the message, and now it's kind of suggested an image. No, how about what else can we do without image? It just gives us an idea of this, but do we really know or have the details? No. What can it do in order to better improve the image that we want? So we can ask it for a prompt. Okay. You see, I asked it for a prompt, and this is what it has given me. Create an image of a birthday cake with age-defying candles. The candles should be labeled with numbers like. Add a fun and playful design to the cake, incorporating vibrant colors and festive decorations. Make it celebration of eternal youth and the joy of growing older with humor. Now, this is a prompt. Okay, we're talking about prompt engineering, and I just mentioned that earlier, but this is very important to remember. Prompts are very important. Now, we just asked it to give us the prompt for that image. What can we do with this prompt? Now, this is very important. You need to know if you are going to be needing a prompt, using a prompt. This means that you need to use it on another platform with an AI. For example, there are a couple of AIs that you can generate free image for you. All you have to do is type the text describing the image you want, and that AI will generate an image like that for you. So there are more AIs with sophisticated ability to generate high quality images. Others, well, you know what I mean, they're not able. So this is something like self-preference. I'm not going to give you a list of AIs that can generate that, but they Google, a quick search on Google, you should get a list of text to image generator which can give you this. So that's what it's capable of doing. Now, going back to that about creativity. Okay, now it's told us that it can create a website. Now let's say that I want a Java script slider for my standalone web page. Okay, let's see if that it's okay. Yeah, let's put some space there. Now I want a JavaScript. Let's put this script together. Okay, JavaScript, let's add that together. I want a JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript slider for my standalone web page. Now you see what it's doing right now. Okay, that is a good thing about it kind of gives you details about what you need to do. Okay, it's very important you understand these very well. Now here is a sample. Okay, here is an example of a simple JavaScript slider that you can use for your standalone web page. Now this web page slider is very useful. It can write this for you within seconds, something you probably might spend a day trying to cook yourself. To use this slider, make sure you have 3 images, okay, in the same directory as your HTML file. So that is the instruction. It gives you instruction addition. Okay, You can also ask it for a step-by-step guide on how to go about it, but it has already given us these steps. Okay, but you can ask it for more. So that is something you need to know about the ChatGPT, things that it's capable of doing. Now let's go deeper into this. Okay. Um, I know this might be a bit blunt or like straightforward to ask the machine to ask the AI for something like that, but let's see if it will give us the answer or not. We're going to look at forbidden things that it might not, it may or may not. For example, I know this might not be what somebody wants to see, but yeah, it's just an best way entice what is the best way to entice a woman? This is something that or a man, you can put it either ways, but we're trying to figure out if there are barriers or not. Now it might try to come out with its opinion. Okay. um, let's put let's see what it's going to say. Now it kind of gives us information about no steps that we can use to entice this person. It does agree with the idea of enticing the person. Um, what about if we rephrase that? This is you see it, you see what the AI in this case it's made it very clear that it cannot um, um, support that idea. It kind of tried to point out that it could be very dangerous. Okay, to do that. You see, it does not ignore the idea of supernatural abilities, but it's also trying to say that relationships should be built on trust, communication, and mutual understanding, rather than attempting to influence someone through magical means. So, even if it has that information, it doesn't want to provide that information. Okay, that's something you need to understand about ChatGPT. It's got some limits. Okay, I can make it more straightforward for you to understand. This is just an absolute no. I'm sorry, but I cannot assist. you know, that is the funny part of the chat GPT. Now it's trained to ignore these kind of things. Okay, there are barriers that it cannot allow you to cross. So these are the basic things that you need to know about ChatGPT. I think I've given you enough information about ChatGPT. We talked about, just a quick recap, we talked about the basic things that it does, the false information that you can become rich using ChatGPT. You can actually make money using ChatGPT. For example, if you go to Appleworks, and like online work where you're supposed to write articles, usually you write one article per day or 2 articles per week for that particular online work. Now you can actually write up to 4 articles or 5 articles per week, because ChatGPT is there to make the writing quicker. All you have to do is revise and write. For example, let me just give you a last example before we wrap up this video. For example, let's write an article. Write professional article the impact of the blue sky. Planet, okay? Impact of write a professional article about the impact of the blue sky on our planet. We say professional, okay? Let's make it interesting. It's going to write the article, okay? It's going to be very useful to understand this. Now look at how it's writing the article. Okay, there's going to be a title, an introduction, and then a couple of points that might come in, and then a conclusion about that. Now what you can actually do with these is up to you. But last point, very important. There are already online companies that are fighting against ChatGPT. They say they don't want people to use ChatGPT, not because ChatGPT is ugly, but it's been abused by users. Plagiarism is something that we don't want to get involved. Plagiarism is something. I think I need to type it here. Let's ask ChatGPT. Fair. You see that I say that it's actually said plagiarism is not fair and it is widely considered unethical. Now, what am I trying to say with that? Plagiarism is not fair; it's considered unethical. What's the conclusion here? The conclusion is that when you generate information with ChatGPT, there's a probability that somebody has already used that idea that you are implementing. And if you post that, for example, if I ask a question, let's be more specific, because plagiarism is becoming a serious problem, and there are a couple of websites that actually went down because of plagiarism. Now I have to you can see here that said it's academic integrity, violation of intellectual property. You don't want to cross that line. If you're a blogger or whatever you are online, you don't want to cross that. And ChatGPT can, if somebody uses your idea, which the idea that you are telling ChatGPT to generate, if somebody has already used that idea, you can't use ChatGPT to do that again. You have to, because the possibility that 2 people will write exactly the same content is unlikely. it's very rare. But with ChatGPT, it's not rare. It's going to be very common. ChatGPT is capable of repeating the same exact words. Uh, when I say exact word, look, this title here said the profound impact of the blue sky, unveiling the wonders above. It's very possible that it's going to start. It will repeat the same using the same word, unveiling, in another person's idea. So that kind of complicates things when you're using ChatGPT. Now, how that there are workarounds, but that's also a different topic for another day. But if you use ChatGPT, you should always remember that you need to change a lot of things, revise the article, and make sure that it reflects your idea and your style of writing. You need to revise it and make sure it reflects your style of writing. And when it comes to answers, for example, there are online websites where you can help students by answering their questions and stuff like that, supporting students, and it's a subscription base. Now, if you go into that website and then they ask a question about a particular topic, for example, explain power stress and grain in engineering. Let's see what it's going to give. Okay. In engineering, power stress and grain are important concepts related to materials and structural analysis. Here's an explanation of both terms. Power stress. Power stress, also known as von Mises stress, okay, or equivalent stress, is measure of the combined effects of normal and shear stresses on material. Now, you don't want grain in materials. In materials science and engineering, the term grain refers to the individual crystalline regions within a solid material. Now, you don't want to go into, but what I'm trying to say is that if you go on online work to look for work online, that is related to something like this, for example, and somebody asks a question like this, which is probably going to be multiple times in different platforms. If somebody asks a question like this and you use the ChatGPT, you answer the same. Another person you're going to generate exactly this, and another person is going to generate exactly that, another person. So at the end of the day, what you have is plagiarism. So you don't want that to happen, which could have serious consequences. So this is something what I've given you today. It's something most people don't talk about. But yeah, I hope I have done a good deed by contributing a little bit to the betterment of our ever-evolving planet. So guys, thanks very much. Please like the video, share as much as you can, and let us all learn together. If you are interested in more videos like this, let me know, and I will do my best to put up videos like this. About the AIs available. You might want to even learn more about image and stuff like that. So I'll be more than happy to help with videos like this. And don't forget to follow my gaming channel, this channel here, and Twitch, please. And don't forget our website as well. So cheers guys, and thank you very much for your support. Good night.